Okay, everyone, thank you so much for attending. We do have a group of you already logged in, and we will go ahead and start. And any of those folks who do join us later or aren't able to attend, we will be able to send out a recording of the webinar. So without any further ado, welcome. We are happy to those of you that are joining us today. We really do appreciate you taking time from your busy schedules and are looking forward to getting to know you. My name's Kimberly, and I am part of the QGiv team. If you aren't familiar with QGiv, if you haven't worked with us before, we're an online fundraising platform dedicated to helping nonprofits raise more money. And today is just one of those examples of how we do this through webinars just like this. Today's webinar will be about 45 minutes with a Q&A session at the end, which will keep our time together to just about under an hour today. We will be recording the presentation and sending each of you a follow-up email, which will have the recording for today, as well as all the links that we reference as resources and discuss today. So please look for your email within the next day or so. If you do have questions at any point during the presentation, go ahead and pop them into the questions box. We'll be monitoring that, and our team is ready to answer and discuss all of these in our Q&A portion at the end that follows our presentation. And thanks to those of you who did submit a few questions during your registration period. So thank you. So we do know that Big Brothers and Big Sister affiliates have choices and who they choose to work with for online fundraising. And we are actually pleased as punch and happy as a clam that we are listed as one of your preferred partners. When we originally announced our partnership, Jared Bell, the Big Brother Big Sisters of America Chief Technology Officer, was kind enough to share his excitement in both our relationship, but also in the special pricing that we've put together for all of your affiliates. Our no contract business model does allow you to try us for any initiative or event to see if we're a good match, and only use us when you need us. So I can't wait for you to see the amazing fundraisers and virtual ideas that we have in store for you today. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker today, Jennifer Mansfield, Vice President of Customer Experience at QGiv. So Jennifer, it's all yours.
Thanks so much, Kim, and welcome everybody. We're so glad that you're here today. I'm excited to chat with you on virtual fundraising and end of year giving and all of that good stuff. I know you're busy, so again, we appreciate your time. The obligatory introduction slide is not my favorite, but here we are. So as Kim said, I'm Jennifer. I head up the customer experience team here at QGiv. I've been in my role for about 11 and a half years. And so my favorite thing and what I'm most passionate about is really just building client relationships and helping nonprofits just drive success as much as we can help. Something else I'm passionate about, travel, which is not something I've been able to do much of this year, and I'm sure we're all in the same boat. So I can't wait till I'm allowed back on a plane and I can travel and see this lovely country. Also, if you have a book recommendation, please share that in the questions box. I love self-help books, but I generally don't finish them. I like to collect them. And then lastly, charcuterie. I mean, give me a grazing board and I am a happy girl. So that's a little bit more about me, and that's enough about me. Let's move on to why you're here. So we are going to start with an agenda because I am a big fan of setting expectations. We are going to start today with optimizing the foundation of your tools and how that might drive success for you. We are then going to talk about virtual fundraising. Oh, cool. My automations are a little out of order. Sorry about that. But we're going to then talk about virtual fundraising. We've learned some really great things along the way and worked with clients as we kind of got through the year. And we want to show you that. And we want to show you some real examples, including some from your own affiliates. And then finally, although it was in a hurry to get on the slide, a little about QGiv and how we can help, and a little bit more about our solution. So since I said I wanted to start with the foundation today and optimizing that, I thought it would be beneficial to share the foundation of the QGiv platform, just so you'll have some familiarity with that once we move into the virtual fundraising examples later and the presentation. You're going to see some of those tools in action, so knowing what we provide could be helpful. So I'll provide more details on our solution later, as I mentioned, but for now, I think this graphic is a really great way to summarize how we can help. So your organization is in the middle, as you can see here, and then QGiv kind of meets you where you're at and provides the services you need when you need them. You'll see from the graphic that we provide donation forms. They're newly redesigned, peer-to-peer fundraising, text fundraising, both inbound and outbound, app-based auctions, kiosks and card readers for on-site events when those are back in ready to go, and then event management. Along with that, we take all of the data that we receive, or that you receive, and we integrate that back into your third-party vendor systems, like your CRM, email systems, accounting softwares, that type of thing, just to try to help with that entire ecosphere. Now let's talk about your foundation as a nonprofit who is doing online fundraising. So do you have a dynamic, reliable tool that supports your fundraising efforts? Is it easy to use and optimize so that you're not spending time on admin tasks like data entry and stuff, that you're using that time where it really counts? Is it easy for your donors to use, or does it feel like a real task for them to, complete an online donation or sign up for an event? I think it's time to kind of take a step back after a pretty hectic year and look at your online fundraising foundation. I would encourage you to act as a donor. What is their experience? What tasks are you still doing that could be automated so that you can focus more on your donors, their cultivation, connecting with them, communicating with them, those types of things. Regardless of the tool that you're using, though, I feel like we want to focus on optimizing it. Oftentimes on our side, from our experience, we see clients come in, sign up for QGiv, and they're highly focused on whatever that next goal is, executing an event that's top of mind, or getting their donation form live on their page, and then they're kind of in a reactive mode. So what I'm encouraging is taking a minute to be more proactive. I would venture to say that regardless of the tool that you're using, there are things that you're missing or not utilizing fully. So have a conversation, ask some questions, and get the most out of your tools. I love the opportunity to connect with clients and talk about things that they've been a client for a couple of years and don't even know we offer, because they were so highly focused on that first goal that they had in mind. So time to step back and kind of take a look at if you're in that same scenario with your vendor. So I love a top 5 list. I tried putting together a top 5 list. It turned into a top 8 list, but I love a list. So we want to go through the top 8 optimization ideas that we have for you today. And the first one seems pretty obvious, but it's streamlined, easy to use donation forms. So again, are you asking for information from your donors that you don't need or that you don't do anything with? If it's not actionable, I say lose it. There's an interaction cost when your donor arrives at your donation form or your event registration form. And if it's not necessary for that information to be there, or you're not doing anything when you collect it, get rid of it. Streamline that process, make it as simple and streamlined as possible. Does the form look nice? When donors arrive, does it look nice? First impressions do mean a lot. And sometimes folks tend to underestimate what that first impression is like. So just consider that. And then finally, and it kind of piggybacks on the other two, but is it just a wall of text and fields? Does it match your branding? Is it clear what the next step is versus, on the donation form? Is it clear what's required versus optional? Just kind of going through with a different lens and looking at the setup and configuration of your donation form, from the donor's standpoint. Streamline it. That's kind of the key word here. Next, recurring giving options. So make them visible, make it an option. Sometimes people don't even turn it on their giving forms. Doesn't hurt to have the option there in most cases. And then of course, show the impact that recurring donation can make. This is an opportunity for me to share a little bit about our newly designed donation forms. We launched those last month, and one of the areas that we did focus on was including recurring upgrade prompts via small nudges. So on the screen, one of the nudges is kind of on the donation, choose your gift step of the donation form. And it's just kind of a simply stated multiply your impact message that allows people to easily upgrade their gift to a monthly gift or any recurring frequency, but that's obviously the most popular. We also added in another nudge towards the end of the process before they complete their one-time gift. That's more of a pop-up modal that would also invite them to become a monthly donor instead. All of that wording is customizable, so you can speak to your audience based on how you speak to your audience, and it's totally customizable. It doesn't have to be our default language. So personally, I'm really excited to collect some data and share that back into our audience on like how often people are using those and how much they're being able to convert one-time donors to monthly donors. But make sure that you are offering it and make sure you're communicating the impacts. Next, embeddable forms. So donors want to feel secure. Unfortunately, fraud has really increased exponentially during 2020. And, of course, you have donors who are going to give to you regardless. But remember, especially this time of year, you're wooing new donors all the time. You're also dealing with donors who potentially have been impacted by fraud this year with the increases that we've seen or card testing. So what can you do to help them feel more secure? I believe that embedding your donation form when possible onto your website is a great way to go about that. Your donors or even people that are checking you out for the first time are going to be more comfortable with your website. They don't have to navigate away from the site, guess as to whether or not the form is secure or not, be taken to a page that doesn't look anything like where they just were. So you want to do as little as you can to disrupt this. If you cannot embed your form, because I know it's not always possible or even desirable if you have a different kind of look and feel for a campaign, you want to make sure that your landing page or wherever you are sending your donors includes your logo and branding so that it feels familiar and not totally separate from your organization. At the end of my top 8 list, I do have a few examples of embedded and non-embedded forms that I'm going to share with you just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Number 4, fundraising thermometers. Driving momentum towards a tangible goal is something I get weirdly excited about, not only to see clients achieve this and use these in their fundraising here at QGiv, but something I love being a part of as a donor to the nonprofit organizations that I personally support. I know it's not always possible, but when it is, I encourage you to add a thermometer. For me, knowing that I'm helping reach a goal that is going to accomplish a specific initiative almost always drives me to give more and honestly just be more excited about giving. I know giving isn't always exciting, and I'm not saying that it should be, but when you do have campaigns such as Giving Tuesday, which is right around the corner, that lend themselves so well towards driving momentum towards like a tangible goal, I say take advantage. I'm a big fan. I've seen it be really successful for our clients, so that's number 4. Next up, make social sharing a no-brainer. So let's face it, in a lot of cases, especially when engaging in peer-to-peer initiatives, and I know I'm going to keep talking about Giving Tuesday, but it's top of mind when people are kind of sharing the word. One of the best ways for your supporters to spread the word is via their social media. So make it easy. Don't let it be an afterthought. Make it easy for them to share and ensure that you are involved in the content that is being shared. Meaning, oftentimes you will have the ability to set like a sharing image or description that will be part of each post that your donors share, along with whatever their personal message, that they add happens to be. So I urge you to see if that's an option with your vendor and ensure that you're configuring those messages. This is like one of those underutilized or like seemingly less impactful things that I promise you is and can be very impactful. I've seen it be impactful both negatively and positively. So I think this definitely needs to make the list and be something that you're taking a look at. Next up, matching gifts. And I do love a stat, so I'm going to hit you with a couple. There's one on the screen. So an estimated $4 to $7 billion in matching gift funds goes unclaimed per year. That is billion. That is a lot of money. And another stat, over 18 million individuals work for companies with matching gift programs. Needless to say, I bet one or more of those 18 million people could be giving to you. So it's important that you're not leaving money on the table. So at QGiv, we actually recently have been able to help automate this through a few of our partners, Double the Donation and Have Data, who specialize in helping you capture that money and automating some of that follow-up. If you're using a vendor that doesn't automate this process, fine, collect the info manually via maybe like a custom field and follow up, but don't underestimate what the potential additional income looks like. So definitely look into matching gifts. So stats are outstanding to me. And I wasn't aware of it until we started kind of like digging into that and adding that feature on our side. Two more. 7 is customized automated receipts. So there are a lot of clients that I talk to that are still manually sending receipts. And in some cases, I get it. In a lot of cases, I don't. So why not automate these for the majority of your donors and save yourself some time? Consider adding a logo or imagery to set the communication apart. Look into conditional content to help personalize the message as to why the donor is giving to you, so it feels more like a personal email than an automated email. You can also include any additional tax information required for your organization to the email with images and with some of your story. So to circle back to recurring donors real quick, oftentimes you can also message them differently from your one-time donors. And if you have a tool that makes it easy, it might be a great option to look into, just so that you can differentiate those programs a little bit. The client pictured here is Mercy Ships, and they refresh their recurring receipts monthly to keep the content kind of fresh and relevant, for their donors who are getting those generally on a monthly basis. So my biggest takeaway here is, depending on your tools and your goals, these don't have to be just transactional emails. They can check lots of boxes for you with the right customization. So take a look at your receipts before you hit end of year giving time. Well, I mean, we're kind of in it, but you know what I mean. Just take a quick look and see if there's anything you can do to kind of judge these up. Oftentimes it's kind of an easy way to make a bit of an impact. And number 8, automated data integration. So I am, again, surprised at how many of our clients that I talk to every day that haven't heard about our automated integrations and haven't asked us if there was anything that we could do to help them save time in this kind of arena. I've seen it be a really huge time saver. And so I'm just surprised, because I feel like we talk about them all the time, but clearly the message isn't always getting through. So whomever you're using, they could be in the same boat. So be sure you ask and explore your options for automating this data sync. As I've said, I've seen the impact this can have, and if it's something you're unsure of, I hope it's the one thing on the list. Well, it's hard to pick, but I hope it's the one thing on the list that you'll look at, because it can save you so much time if it's available. Quick side note, I know that Matchforce is an option for you all, and it is built on the Salesforce tool, which is an automated integration that we offer. So I thought I would just mention that in case anyone is interested in exploring that, especially if there are any clients on the line. Okay, so that's my top 8 optimization ideas to consider as we're approaching the 2020 finish line and heading into 2021. But before we jump into virtual fundraising ideas, I wanted to pull up some examples of our brand new donation forms to help illustrate some of these concepts that we just went through. So first up here, you will see Platform Art. And they are a client who is using an embedded form. You'll notice via their URL up here that it's being masked to cover the URL of our donation form, which makes the donor feel, well, they're not actually leaving, but makes the donor feel secure. They're on the same website that they arrived at, and they can give. a couple of things here is you'll see the recurring prompt being used by them, as I showed you on the small screen. They also have the multi-step process form that makes it really simple and digestible. And then just even the simple choice of updating their primary color to match their logo and the branding on their site makes this really feel seamless. So on top of that, one other thing I wanted to point out that was not an optimization bullet point, but you'll see on most of the forms that I'm sharing is gift assist. That's what this checkbox is for. And it allows your donors to help offset those processing costs that come along with online giving. This is a free, no-cost feature that we offer on our start package, which you'll hear more about later. And another stat, because you know I love them, about 57% of donors right now are choosing to help offset the cost of processing when given the opportunity. And that has gone up pretty dramatically this year alone. Your donors are really wanting to help, so it's great to see. All right, another embedded form. This client is getting ready for Giving Tuesday. Same form, but they've added some text at the top, so you know exactly why you're here. They clearly have a very different color. They've added the thermometer with a countdown for Giving Tuesday, which is upcoming, with their goal of $5,000. They've even added some wording here just to encourage them at how quickly it is or it takes to complete a gift. They've also got that gift assist, but with different language, because almost everything on our forms is customizable. But just something that looks a little different and is kind of a campaign form that they're using specifically for Giving Tuesday. Now, this is a landing page. We talked about what if I can't embed my form, what if I don't want to embed my form. So this is a landing page, just an example. I'm about to show you 3, and you'll see how different they can look. This landing page uses some imagery, a logo, some impactful text at the top, and then of course a color that coordinates with the logo. There is also room at the bottom to put tax deductible information if you want to, and of course the ways that share for social media. One that looks totally different is City of Washington. They also have their logo, but they kind of did something different color scheme, kind of an image background at the bottom instead. Pretty nice looking and simple, as you can see, but they're very flexible in regards to what you want your presence to look like. And it's clear I'm here to support City Year, or in this case, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And then here's another Big Brothers, Big Sisters example I saw that is taking advantage of our imagery and our donation amounts, which is a brand new feature. And I just loved it, and I thought it would resonate with you guys, so I wanted to share it. You know, just this impact statement showing what the money can, or the donation can do, and with some imagery that definitely can be more impactful for certain donors. And they're using the gift assist and dedications and lots of good stuff. So they're just some examples to hopefully help illustrate some of the things that we talked about. Now we are going to dive back in to the presentation and talk about virtual fundraising. So we talked about optimizing. We are going to kind of firm up our foundation, and now we're going to dig into virtual fundraising themes and examples as you're finalizing, executing, or maybe even just starting your virtual strategy this year and into next year. So let's start with, and I know you'll be shocked, a few stats. So first, I hope that nobody on the call with us today believes that if you build it, they will come. It's more than just putting an event together. It's about communicating. It's about having a strategy. It's about ensuring that you're sharing the impact. So we recently surveyed a group of people in a study that we did with Campaign Monitor about donor communication preferences. So donors said that there were 3 key pieces of information that they wanted to see that would inspire them to give outside of their usual cadence. People could choose multiple kinds of information, which is why these percentages might seem so high to you. So if you're planning a virtual event, first and foremost, and are worried that donors won't give this way because that's not what they're used to, or they're tired of giving that way after the year that we just had, this is what you can do. Give them these elements and continue giving them these elements. Show them stories about the people they'll help, show them the results that they're having, and then show them how the money they donate will be used. I feel like this is true regardless of a pandemic, but it's even more important, you know, during this time when we're not having really any face-to-face and everything is just kind of different. So just make sure you're paying attention to these three things. So this webinar, we've done a lot of webinars about virtual fundraising, and this one is not about pivoting. I would venture to say that most of you have pivoted already or chosen not to, but you're not entirely sure what that means. So we've gained some footing, we've tried some things, we've seen the impact, what's worked, what hasn't, and it's time to continue driving success, however that may look for your teams where you are. So what should you be focusing on in November as you're wrapping up 2020 and planning for 2021? Continue to communicate the why. There's a lot of noise, is what I'll call it, out there. So make it simple and easy for your donors and supporters to understand how they're making an impact on your cause, right? This kind of piggybacks on the slide that we just looked at. Why should they care? Why should they donate? Why should they continue participating in your virtual events? It may be obvious to you, you may feel like you've said it until you're blue in the face, but you live it every day. Remind them over and over how important they and their contributions are. Don't replicate, innovate. When you are looking at transitioning your annual event or looking at how those virtual events are going to kind of transform into 2021, are they going to be similar? Are they going to change a little bit? What did you learn? Continue to not try to fit a square peg into a round hole. I think we have some experience here, you know, more so than we did at the beginning, but obviously what you did in the live setting, or maybe even how you executed virtual events this year, may not resonate next year when you know, who knows what the country is going to look like. There may be some hybrid events. People may still be fully at home. People may be transitioning back. Don't be afraid to just live in this this time of uncertainty and scrap your original plans and start over with your team. You could be pleasantly surprised by how it pushes you to be better, to be more creative. I'm sure that you feel like you've already been tested, but there could be some more of that coming. So just make sure that you are continuing to innovate as you learn and you execute. Next, use your resources. So brainstorm with your team, reach out to your colleagues and vendors. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There has been so much experience that has been gained this year with probably so many people, most people in your networks. Everyone is going through a similar challenge, and they're learning things every day, and someone else may be able to suggest something that inspires your next big idea. So while you might be heads down trying to figure out what you're going to do next, take a deep breath and have some conversations with your network and see what they've learned. Next, throw spaghetti at the wall. So this is an exercise we do at QGiv a lot when we are planning our programs. We like to pull key stakeholders in a room for a brainstorming session. We always have a goal in mind and start to just ask questions and throw things out there. So what's working, what's not, how do we get where we want to be? And from that kind of questioning and out loud brainstorming, we move into an open forum for people to throw out thoughts and ideas. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. We just write everything down on a whiteboard and we talk about them to see what sticks. It's a unique opportunity this year and going into next year to throw your old rules out the window and try something completely different. So don't be afraid to look at it that way as more of an opportunity. And then that drives us into this one pretty well. Be open to the challenge. So arguably you might not have too much of a choice, but one thing is for sure, it's forced all of us to just, as I said before, be better, be more savvy, be more flexible and open-minded, and open to new ideas. Now is not the time to keep your head down, and with every challenge comes new opportunity. Without the overhead of live events, you have the opportunity to raise even more for your cause and directly impact your mission. And I hope that some of you are feeling that way too. A lot of the client conversations that we've had when we all have this kind of grimace on our face, like, how is this going to work? How are things going to go? We've had clients on the other end of the line that are just super happy because they pulled it off. Their donors rallied around them, supported them well, and they saved money, which is great. And we've got to kind of focus on the positive. And finally, communicate, communicate, communicate. It may seem obvious, just like the first bullet point, but it's so important not to go silent right now. Your donors need to hear from you. They want to hear what you're doing, why you're doing it, what the impact looks like. You may feel like you're communicating too much, but your donors want to hear from you. So don't stop communicating. All right, so time for my favorite part, which is the show and tell, featuring our real clients having real success who have been thrown into a year of unknowns just like you. So I want to start with someone that you may know, and that is Big Brothers Big Sisters, Southern Minnesota. So it's definitely a happy coincidence that one of our first clients to have to pivot and pivot very quickly was a Big Brothers Big Sisters affiliate. So when the COVID-19 pandemic threatened to cancel their event, they had to quickly pivot their Evening for Kids' Sake event that they generally have, and they turned it into a virtual auction event. When the transition happened, they expanded what they were planning to do and used our QGiv app to include selling raffle tickets and raising funds with a Fund a Need campaign that was super successful for them as well. So the staff at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and look at that timestamp, excuse me, that timestamp please, March 14th. I mean, this was a crazy time. So I'm not kidding when I said they were one of the first. So they did all the normal things. They organized the auction baskets, decorated the event space, posted a series of Facebook Live videos as the event unfolded. They did a great job with that, by the way. And they walked guests through the process of registering, entering the auction, bidding, checking out, and just kind of held their hands because this was super, super new and everyone was learning together. And they did such a good job of explaining it. Facebook Live also made it possible for their organization to share impactful videos during the auction event, which drove bids and donations throughout the evening as well. Overall, their event raised more than $100,000, which was amazing. They had beat their goal. They had beat every year in the past. And their donors just really rallied around them. And it made us all kind of take a deep breath and say, okay, wow, maybe we can all figure this out. So I'm so proud of them. They were really happy. I would encourage you, I have a few screenshots here. They did a series of these kind of like shorter videos showing items, getting kind of up close and personal, having some pre-recorded videos as well. But if you check out their social media, Facebook is where this is posted. Obviously, it was Facebook Live. You'll be able to see some of those videos, maybe get some ideas, but they did fabulous. So wanted to start with them. And their event was so long ago, there wasn't really much to show, which is why I pulled some screenshots. But we're going to move back over to my browser so I can show you some real examples. All righty. So first up here, we have an organization called Solid Ground. They were also pretty early on, and they used our mobile suite platform to host their luncheon, which they called Lunch In, where everyone stayed at home, obviously, and they still ran their program via YouTube Live. They had a chef and did raffles and all the stuff that you would normally have at a luncheon, but they did it virtually. You'll notice here that with our mobile suite and the text giving, they kept their, and I'm sorry for the play, I can't really get that off, but they had their keyword and the instructions on how to give via text giving right at the bottom of their video throughout the entire presentation to make it really easy for people to give. This is kind of the landing page on their website where they hosted the live stream in case anybody wanted to watch it, with their thermometer from QGiv embedded and the donate now back to QGiv embedded as well. So this is the QGiv form. This is what we call a fundraising hub live form. It works great for on-site events, and also we found out for virtual events where you have people watching live. What it is able to do is aggregate your gifts, whether they're from online gifts, from from an auction, from peer-to-peer, whatever it happens to be. In this case, it was online gifts and text giving gifts. That's how they were collecting donations. They have a simple banner at the top. They have their goal and their thermometer, and then they have their supporters scrolling here at the bottom left. Something I'll point out here is that some organizations and their donors don't feel comfortable with their names and their amounts scrolling. Some love it. And for those that are uncomfortable, you can make your donors anonymous so that it isn't an uncomfortable event for people. But oftentimes, and you keep hearing this word from me, but driving that momentum towards a goal is really helpful to see kind of donations rolling in and that thermometer filling up. They were also able to give their sponsors some airtime here as well. And as you can see, they did very well. Something I wanted to point out is their event lasted for, I believe, just over an hour. But with our text giving platform, you can also set up reminders. So maybe they were really into the recipe and the chef and they texted and decided they didn't want to complete their gift. You can set up a drip campaign to gently nudge your donors to complete that gift for days, weeks, or even months after. I don't know that I would go months, but days or weeks after they have started a gift. And we have lots of reporting to, that can help you with like senior conversions and things like that. So that was solid ground. They did really well. Another encouraging event right at the start that made me realize how creative our clients really are. Next up, Junior Achievement of Northern California. So they did an auction. This is one of the tools that we launched in 2020. Boy, did we not know how that was going to go. I love this example and I love their tagline, same event, new experience. Like, let's not try to cover it up. This is a crazy new thing and we're all going to figure it out together. So it was our virtual gala and they did host their YouTube live event here as well. And they too had their text giving keyword towards the bottom, like you saw with solid ground. And they have lots on this page. This is probably a good time for me to let you know that we will be sending out links to the events that I'm sharing with you. So if you want to go in, click around, take a closer look at anything, you'll be able to do that. You would absolutely hate it if I kind of tried to show you every single thing. So anyways, back to this event. Their live stream featured entertainment, a signature cocktail that they kind of showed people how to do the day before so they could show up with it. And they were really just trying to drive that live event experience from home. They had raffles to get people to sign up and check in before the event, which I thought was like a really good idea. Again, we talked about that noise earlier and all of the distractions when you're at home. You know that from working at home too, I'm sure. But you want to get them engaged and in the case of an auction, they need to be logged into the app and ready to go to see those items and start the bidding wars, So encouraging them to get in the app and ready to go when the live stream started was really smart of them. And I think part of the reason they were so successful, they did that with a couple of raffles. And if people were signed in and registered by a certain time, they were incentivized to do that via a raffle. Great idea. People love a raffle. I will literally enter anything if there's a raffle involved. So anyways, you can see that they beat their goal. Lots of stuff, their cocktail, their entertainment, pre-recorded videos. Down here, they have some awards that they highlighted. Volunteers, top educators. There's room for everything here. They totally built this out with our CMS, which is drag and drop, very easy to do, no coding, no HTML, none of that. And another tool that I'll mention, just because there's so much going on here, sometimes we'll show examples to our clients and they kind of get discouraged because they don't have a graphic designer or maybe the resources to create like nice looking images for their event. And I always get so excited to tell them about Canva. I don't know if you know about Canva. I assume that you do. If not, check it out. It makes creating images so easy. It's free. There are obviously premium options, but it's free. I've never paid for anything. And it makes me feel talented when I want to create simple images. So I would encourage you, if you're looking to judge up your events a little bit and you want to create images or banner images or whatever, check out Canva. I think you'll really like it. But back to JA, something else they did, they were kind of highlighting their live auction items. So people could click through even before the event. We're obviously after the event now, and go and check out the different auction items, see what the starting bids were. They had their fund in need items, even their live auction items, they did little videos for. So as I said, I'm gonna stop. There's a lot here. Feel free to click through, but they put a lot into creating this event, making it engaging and interactive for their client base. And it definitely paid off for them. So next is the sharing center. So the sharing center generally has a huge spring fundraiser, and they had to cancel that pretty early on and convert to this kind of 5-week virtual fundraising campaign that included lots of little things. So this is that like square peg round hole. They couldn't just do a virtual spring fundraiser. It wasn't going to work. So they did a lot of little things to add up to that bigger goal that they had in mind. And one of the things that they did was this online virtual pantry. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking, I'm not going to do a virtual pantry, but I think you'll be able to see that this could be used for a lot of different things. And my next example will kind of show you that. But in this case, you could make a gift, a one-time or a monthly gift, or you could stock the pantry and buy food now. And this is our peer-to-peer store, and it can be used as a standalone. It doesn't have to be used with our peer-to-peer functionality. And you'll see how fun they set up this little store where you could buy grocery carts, healthy snacks, everyday groceries, household items. They kind of broke it up here, added cute little images to illustrate it, and you can go in and add those items to your cart. I know I was getting my groceries delivered. I'm still getting my groceries delivered. And this is just kind of fun, right? It's something different. It's not your standard donation page, makes things tangible. I know I'm going out on a limb by saying fun, but it's kind of fun. It's something different. So this is one way the store can be used, super successful for them. And we saw lots of clients just kind of taking this idea and running with it and creating these virtual stores, not just pantries, to sell things and just make that experience a little bit, again, more fun. So with that being said, I'm gonna go to this next event. This is Crossroads School. They did a 5K and family fun day with our peer-to-peer tool. And something cool that you probably have already seen, they did a virtual opening ceremony via Zoom, which, you know, it was, again, just about connecting with people since we were all, and some are still stuck at home. And so everyone getting on and getting excited like they were showing up to the event the day of. So that was super fun. And then everybody ran or walked in their community at the same time. A lot of other virtual events kind of did it over maybe like a 2-week period, but they all kind of did it at the same time. And then leading up to the event, they sold, they had a virtual dunk tank, let me show you. And they sold water balloons for $5 a piece. And they had board members and staff sign up to get ballooned or, you know, a bucket dumped on their head. And their supporters could come in and use the same store that we just saw for the pantry, but they could buy water balloons. So let's say I'm after Mark, I can buy water balloons here, and they had a report they could pull at the end to see how many water balloons for each board member or staff member, and they safely went around and kind of taped it and threw balloons from afar, and that was something that the community and the supporters could watch at the conclusion of their event that day. So again, our clients are just so creative. That was super fun. It was a great way to build that community and have this kind of event when so many people were craving that. So anyways, that was just a super fun example as well. And another example of how to use the store. All right, next up we have BH Care, and they also did a virtual walk. And they kind of did theirs over some time, and they encouraged their supporters and participants to send in photos. They did a virtual finish line where they had remarks from staff, but then also had videos and images from their clients who actually participate. I keep saying clients, they're donors and supporters who participated in the walk or run, which was great. Again, community connection, all of those things. These little bibs that you see here, they created so people could kind of print those out and color them or whatever and wear them the day of. That's kind of what I wanted to point out on this event. They had a tools and FAQ section that kind of outlined exactly what people could expect, some frequently asked questions, of course. And then they provided fundraising tools and downloads for their participants. And this event really acted as a hub for the people that were supporting them for this event. Those bibs were over here. The kids could color them. You could download them right from the site. They had fundraising tips, social media graphics, logos, and just made it really easy as a fundraiser to come in and get what you needed. Along with that, we talked about social media and making it easy. Hello, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, lots of bullet points, what hashtags to use, what their handles are, ideas, just made it really easy. So I encourage you to take a look at this one and consider making that sharing a no-brainer for people. Only a couple more here. It's hard to pick, but this one is fantastic. And I'm saying that about all of them, I know, but this is Ronald McDonald House of the Bluegrass, and they have a kind of a core value of innovation at their organization, and they wanted to figure out what they could do. This is a good example of throwing spaghetti at the wall that we talked about earlier in our virtual fundraising themes. They were able to raise 122% of their goal, and the 13-year-old little Mr. Thomas over here was their #1 top fundraiser, which was super awesome. So essentially, it allowed families at the house to participate, stay safe, raise funds for Ronald McDonald House, and enjoy some family time, because givers and gamers, you might still be wondering what that is. It's basically a 12-hour gaming marathon where they could play board games or online video games, or I don't know if you've heard of, I think they're called Jackbox games that are kind of collaborative. You can be in different houses playing them, but they basically did this kind of big game day. And since a lot of people didn't know what Givers and Gamers was, and we haven't seen a lot of these events, they did this incredible FAQ document that outlined any question that anyone could potentially have, including, you know, what are you doing with the money? Is gaming for 12 hours really something you want us to do? What kind of games do you want us to play? Where can we get the games? What should our fundraising goal be? Lots of stuff. So they had a specific place for people to go to get the answers that they needed, and made it super handy on their kind of event hub page. So great job. And they said that they're doing this event again, regardless of a pandemic, because it was super popular with their families, and they exceeded that goal that they had set for themselves. They also had a super quick turnaround time on this. So it was a win all the way around. Okay, 2 more. This one is probably, well, I can't say favorite, but I like this one because it's a challenge event. It's a month-long challenge event. This happens to be for a food bank that is driving like hunger awareness activities, but it could be used in so many different ways. Essentially, the goal here is to earn points and win prizes and set up a fundraising page. To earn points, folks are raising donations, of course, recruiting new team members for their teams. Again, this is using peer-to-peer in case that wasn't clear. And then each of the team members can earn points by, again, raising funds, learning about hunger by watching videos, listening to podcasts, that type of thing, sharing, participating in Go Orange Day, or tuning in for their live stream of their virtual event. I know depending on your audience, some people love this type of thing. It's kind of this friendly competition thing and earning points and being able to win prizes. So they kind of highlighted their prizes here. And you'll be surprised, or maybe you won't be surprised, but you know, a lot of it was like recognition on LinkedIn or social media, swag, you know, things that they already had accessible, things that didn't cost them a lot of money to do this, but people love friendly competition. So it was pretty easy to spin up. It's a month-long challenge. It drives awareness. It raises money. It gets people involved. And I just want to come up with 1,000 ways that this can be used, because I think there are just so many ideas here. So anyways, great option. And then of course, and I might have done this on purpose, but I'm also going to end with the Big Brothers Big Sisters affiliate, because I found this one most recently and I'm obsessed with this event. It's a virtual pumpkin patch, so creative. And the idea here is that they want to celebrate people who have been impactful to your life and encourage people to raise money on behalf of their organization. So anyone who gives $50 or more can have a pumpkin that can be named in honor of someone special. And they're actually creating those pumpkins and featuring those, they might have used Canva even, but featuring them on their homepage via like this image gallery. They've also, if I click on a fundraiser and this leaderboard here, They can share their message, why they're involved. And then they've got some impact statements here on why their support matters, which we've talked about endlessly today. And then they've even created some fundraising badges, again, to drive that friendly competition, and their cute little pumpkins as well. So just a really, again, creative idea. It's timely for this time of year. It's honoring people. It's raising money. It's fun. So love this example. All right. I could go on literally all day and keep showing you guys stuff, but I know you probably have some things to do today. So I'm gonna get back to our presentation and start kind of wrapping up a little bit. Lots of ideas. Hope that you loved some of them. Hope maybe one or two helped inspire maybe some ideas for the coming months and maybe next year. But now that you've seen some real life examples of our product and the client success associated with it, I'd love it if I could tell you just a little bit more about QGiv. And as I mentioned early on, QGiv has a comprehensive suite of really powerful online fundraising tools. I've shown you some of those today. So I want to bring back that image from earlier and just remind you that we do offer all of these things. The donation forms, which I showed you early on, the event registration, text fundraising and outbound messaging, which we saw several clients use in conjunction with other products, peer-to-peer, which was definitely used in auctions as well. On top of that, as I said, we've got our CRM integrations, including Matchforce, our email automation systems like MailChimp or Constant Contact that allow you to communicate, which is a huge theme, with your donors and build those lists automatically from our systems. And then, of course, QuickBooks for accounting. We've also got those matching gift integrations so that you don't have to leave any of those billions of dollars on the table. And then real quick, before we jump into Q&A, I wanted to throw up our integration slide. I talked about a few, but maybe you'd notice or recognize some of the logos here as services that you're using. And these are all things that we can help automate for you guys, including Zapier, which is over at the bottom right, which is something that integrates with thousands of things. So if you don't see something up here, that could also be an option. So that's QGiv, that's virtual fundraising, that is optimizing donation forms. And with that, I think my time is over. I'm going to ask Kim to come back, and Jack Nelson, our Director of Business Development, and Jenny Kastenchek is also going to join us. She's one of our account executives. And we're going to answer any questions that may have come through during the presentation. So with that, Kim, if you'll come back and facilitate that, we would love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for all that great info. It looks like we did have a few questions, and it looks like some of this might have been answered already, but why don't we just go to those first? It looks like another Jennifer participated and wanted to just clarify Canva. And I know Jenny jumped on and shared that answer, but maybe you might want to go, Jennifer, a little bit more into Canva, canva.com.
Yeah, I would encourage you just to go check it out. Like I said, it's free. There's lots of templates. It can be social media templates. They have them sized perfectly for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can do flyers, you can do PowerPoint presentations, and they have a ton of free templates that you can go in, add your own, replace the text that they already have, change your colors, that type of thing. It's all very easy to use. There's not a lot of onboarding time. And then you can download them for free as image files that you can use. Like I said, they do have Premier features, so I don't want to give the impression it's 100% free. You can pay for things as you need them, but I've never paid for anything, and I make things on there all the time. So I hope that helps.
And I use Canva too. I actually love it. It's really easy. And I loved your comment earlier, Jennifer. It makes me feel really savvy. Another question that I think we covered, but let's just make sure, is just clarifying, is QGiv a CRM, or does it just integrate into the agency CRM? I don't know if Jenny might want to field that one.
Yeah, so QGiv is not a donor management platform or a CRM, but we do offer integrations with some of the leading donor management, email marketing, and accounting programs. We are primarily focused on the online fundraising aspect and are transaction based.
Okay.
And I'll jump in,
Jack?
if you don't mind, I'll jump in real quick as well on that particular one. And just to remind everyone that's still on the line with us that we are one of the vendors that BBBSA approved for doing the MatchForce integration. And therefore, you know, if you are planning on using MatchForce for your CRM, then please let us know, because actually our integration is already written. Unfortunately, it has not been tested by Big Brothers Big Sisters of America yet. But we are very, very close to having that ready for launch. So I do encourage you that if you are interested in MatchForce integration, to please let us know.
Well, thank you, Jack. And going to a couple of the questions that were sent in early by a couple registrants, and maybe Jenny, back to you, are our packages paid monthly or quarterly, and how long do our contracts last?
So the major benefit, or one of the major benefits of QGiv, is the ability to just pay for the features and packages that you need when you need them. There are no long-term contracts or startup fees, and you have the ability to turn the different packages on and off throughout the year in monthly or quarterly increments, depending on your needs. When you're looking at all of the pricing information on our marketing material and on our website, you'll see a monthly price for each package, and then you'll also see a quarterly price, which basically gives you a $30 discount per month, but you do prepay for the quarter in advance.
Okay, well, thank you. I think that covered that question. And then why don't we go back to you, Jennifer? Another one of our questions was, is there a charge for our customer service support?
No, never a charge. Unlimited support, unlimited training. You bring new staff on, don't worry about training them. You can send them our way, and we are happy to provide as much support as possible. No cost.
Great. And then the last question that I have, unless anyone else jumps in, does QGiv also handle traditional peer-to-peer events like the Bowl for Kids' Sake? And maybe, Jack, would you mind fielding that one?
Sure. And the short answer is absolutely yes. So, you know, in addition to your Bowl for Kids' Sake, and we happen to have a lot of experience with bowl-a-thons, anything from a walk, run, cycle ride, DIY, pretty much any type of peer-to-peer event or campaign that you can think of, we can do. It's not a problem at all. We have lots of experience at it. And really what we were trying to show today is to provide some different examples, kind of some creative ideas to hopefully get your creative juices going by seeing all the different things that various clients of ours have actually implemented through us.
Okay, and it looks like we just got another question on ticket item events. And I think that's from Jennifer, who sent a couple in, and I think that was in regards to what you were just mentioning, Jack.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question?
It says, or ticket item events.
So yes, we can also do ticketed type events, sure, like galas, dinners, you know, luncheons, you name it. So absolutely.
Okay, and Jennifer, I see you're still chatting in the question box. Did that answer your question? Yes,
Well,
yes, it did.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so it looks like that's all of our questions that we've got from participants and whatnot. So I know everyone's seeing now a screen with our contact information. So we did want to thank each of you for joining us today. And again, we will be emailing you a recording of today with all the links and examples shared. If you are interested in reaching out to the QGiv team, obviously, there's some contact information on the screen there. Our support at QGiv.com. If you're already an existing client, marketing at QGiv.com. If you'd like to learn more, and you can always do it the old-fashioned way and give us a call at 888-855-9595. We really do appreciate it. I hope you got some great ideas and are on track for fundraising for the year end and beyond, and we will be in touch. And thank you again for participating today.